South African rugby is once again making headlines, and this time the story goes far beyond a simple preparation match. Springboks head coach Rassie Erasmus has revealed that the upcoming South Africa A fixture against Zimbabwe carries several important objectives, including player development, tactical preparation, and securing the future of some of the country's most promising young rugby stars. At first glance, the match may appear to be just another warm-up game on the rugby calendar. However, according to Erasmus, the encounter represents a key step in South Africa's long-term strategy to strengthen the Springbok system and build depth for future international competitions. The fixture will take place as part of the Springboks' broader preparations and will serve as a curtain raiser before the highly anticipated clash between the Springboks and the Barbarians. Mzwandile Stick has been confirmed as the head coach of the South Africa A side, and expectations are already growing around which players will be selected to represent the team. What makes this game particularly significant is the status of South Africa A under World Rugby regulations. For 2026, South Africa A has been designated as South Africa's second senior representative team. This means that players who take the field against Zimbabwe could become internationally tied to South Africa under World Rugby eligibility rules. Speaking to the media, Erasmus outlined several goals for the match. The first objective is to expose emerging players to the Springbok environment and help them become comfortable within the national setup. Transitioning from junior rugby to senior international rugby is never easy. The standards, expectations, and intensity are significantly higher. By bringing promising young players into the South Africa A environment, the coaching staff hopes to accelerate their development and prepare them for future opportunities at the highest level. The second objective involves integrating players into South Africa's tactical systems. Modern rugby requires more than physical talent. Teams must operate within detailed game plans that include attacking structures, defensive patterns, kicking strategies, and set-piece execution. Erasmus emphasized the importance of introducing players to these systems early in their development. The sooner players understand how the Springboks operate, the easier it becomes for them to transition into the senior national team when opportunities arise. Another major goal is providing valuable game time to players returning from injury or those who have not played regularly in recent months. Training sessions can only replicate match conditions to a certain extent. Competitive rugby remains the best environment for evaluating a player's readiness and fitness. For coaching staff, these fixtures provide an opportunity to assess players under genuine match pressure. It allows them to see how individuals perform when required to make split-second decisions in a highly competitive environment. Erasmus also explained that the coaching group wants to see whether the tactical work completed during training camps translates effectively onto the field. Coaches spend countless hours preparing players, but the true test comes when those strategies are executed during live competition. While all of these objectives are important, the aspect attracting the most attention relates to international eligibility regulations. Under World Rugby rules, each union can nominate a second senior national representative team. Appearances for that team in approved international fixtures can impact a player's international eligibility. In previous years, many rugby nations used their under-20 teams as secondary representative sides. However, changes introduced by World Rugby no longer allow under-20 teams to fulfill that role. As a result, South Africa now serves as South Africa's officially designated second senior team. Because Zimbabwe is a recognized international side and a Rugby World Cup participant, players who appear for South Africa A in this fixture could become tied to South Africa for international rugby purposes. This development has sparked considerable discussion throughout the rugby community. South Africa has produced an extraordinary number of elite rugby players over the years. The country's schools, academies, and provincial systems continue to generate world-class talent on a consistent basis. However, South Africa has also experienced situations where talented players eventually represented other nations. Several high-profile players born and developed in South Africa have gone on to play international rugby elsewhere after qualifying through residency or ancestry pathways. These examples have highlighted the increasingly global nature of modern rugby. With professional rugby creating opportunities around the world, players often pursue careers in different countries. Over time, some become eligible to represent those nations at international level. South African rugby authorities understand this reality and are actively working to strengthen connections between emerging players and the national setup from an early stage. The South Africa A program represents an important part of that strategy. By exposing talented youngsters to the Springbok environment, coaches hope to build strong relationships and create a clear pathway towards senior international rugby. For young athletes, the opportunity to train alongside established professionals can be transformative. It allows them to experience elite standards while gaining valuable insight into what is required to succeed at the highest level. Many of the players involved in the South Africa A camp are considered future stars of South African rugby. Several have impressed at youth levels, provincial competitions, and domestic tournaments. Others have emerged through the highly respected Junior Springboks system. South Africa's under-20 program has consistently produced players capable of competing on the world stage. Over the years, many successful Springboks first gained recognition through age-grade rugby before progressing into senior international competition. The inclusion of numerous junior Springboks in the broader training environment demonstrates the coaching staff's commitment to developing future generations. Although these young players are also preparing for major international youth competitions, exposure to senior structures can provide invaluable experience. It allows them to understand the professional standards expected within the Springbok setup and gives coaches an opportunity to evaluate their long-term potential. The timing of the fixture is also important. International rugby has become increasingly demanding, with players facing packed schedules, extensive travel, and significant physical workloads. As a result, successful nations require strong squad depth. Winning major tournaments is rarely possible with only a small core of players. Teams need quality replacements capable of stepping into important matches when injuries or scheduling challenges arise. South Africa has built much of its recent success on the strength of its squad depth. During recent international campaigns, the Springboks demonstrated an ability to rotate players without significantly reducing performance levels. That depth has become one of the team's greatest strengths. Fixtures such as South Africa versus Zimbabwe play a critical role in maintaining that advantage. Every player who gains experience in the system becomes a potential future contributor at senior level. The coaching staff can monitor development, identify strengths, and address weaknesses long before players are required to perform in major international tournaments. Zimbabwe, meanwhile, enters the fixture with ambitions of its own. The team has worked hard to re-establish itself within international rugby and continues to make progress on the global stage. Qualification for major competitions has increased confidence within Zimbabwean rugby circles, and matches against strong opposition provide valuable opportunities for growth. Facing a talented South Africa A side will offer Zimbabwe an important benchmark as the team continues its preparations for future challenges. For supporters, the fixture promises an intriguing contest. Fans will have the opportunity to watch some of South Africa's most exciting emerging talents in action while also assessing the depth available to the national coaching staff. Many players selected for this match could eventually become regular members of the Springbok squad. Some may even develop into future stars capable of representing South Africa at Rugby World Cups and other major international tournaments. Rassie Erasmus has built a reputation as one of rugby's most innovative and forward-thinking coaches. Throughout his tenure, he has consistently emphasized the importance of planning for the future while maintaining current success. Rather than focusing solely on immediate results, Erasmus has worked to create systems capable of sustaining excellence over many years. His approach combines player development, tactical innovation, and strategic squad management. The South Africa A initiative reflects that philosophy perfectly. It serves multiple purposes simultaneously, preparing players, evaluating talent, strengthening depth, and helping secure the long-term future of South African rugby. As the match approaches, attention will focus on team selection and individual performances. Which young players will seize their opportunity? Which returning players will impress after injury? And which prospects could move one step closer to earning a Springbok cap? Those questions add an extra layer of intrigue to an already significant fixture. Regardless of the final score, the game represents much more than 80 minutes of rugby. It is a glimpse into South Africa's future. It is an opportunity for emerging stars to showcase their abilities. And it is another example of how modern rugby nations are using strategic planning to remain competitive at the highest level. For South African rugby supporters, the South Africa A clash against Zimbabwe could provide the first look at the next generation of Springboks. The result may matter, but the long-term impact could prove even more important. As Rassie Erasmus and his coaching team continue building for the future, this fixture may eventually be remembered as a key moment in the development of several future international stars. Only time will tell which players seize the opportunity, but one thing is certain: South Africa A versus Zimbabwe is far more than just a warm-up match. It is a strategic investment in the future of South African rugby.